You go TikTok live as well. We'll let for some people to come on today. Oh my goodness, I had questions from Facebook and I don't know what they are. Had a bit of some crazy stuff happening today, so I'm really it's a busy time for me actually because I'm organizing expeditions for 2025. It's very exciting, very exciting time. And I also have an announcement today. I'm probably going to do that like way later into the show. Let's see what's going on with the TikTok thing here. Like last week, it seemed to take like 10 minutes for TikTok to open up. I went on TikTok today. Um, the live show did. I went on TikTok to just look for moderators. So when I went on there, um, like 1,000 people showed up, which was pretty cool. And there's Paul. Good day, Paul. This is a testament to how crazy my life has been recently. I have to talk to Paul badly, and uh, I guess I'm going to start talking about what I want to talk to Paul today. Like the announcement today will come a little bit later. So I think Paul, I should have I have time to talk tomorrow if you're available, my friends. I appreciate your patience. Let's talk. Like yeah, I don't mean to be I just get overwhelmed. You know what's hard? I'm going to be really transparent. I'm a single dad. I have a 6-year-old. My 15-year-old keeps me busy, and I'm a Sasquatch. The number one two thing in the whole world to me is the Sasquatch researcher. Number two, number one, I'm a dad. So being a single parent is awesome. It's so fun, and it's really good for the research too. It's changed me as a Sasquatch researcher in a really good way. Even as a wilderness guy, it's changed me, and I'll tell you why. Listen to this mentality, guys. So I'm a little bit of a crazy dude, right? Like I'm crazy, like brave. Like I'll do crazy stuff. I skydive, I rock climb up into crazy spots. I like kayaking in those rapids was just like a good day for me. Skydiving, I loved it. Bungee jumping was easy compared to skydiving. But I've always been like a brave guy to do brave things. And that's a detriment in some ways because so a mentality, just as an example, things that I would do, like when I'm out in the wilderness and I see a grizzly bear, like a monstrous grizzly bear boar, just a big savage of a beast. Just 1 second, guys, because I think TikTok is almost working here. What's going on here? Templates? Are you kidding me? What is that? How do you go live here? Um, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, there's the live button. It just popped up. So I see a big grizzly bear boar, like a big monstrous grizzly bear. Oh man, my phone looks dirty for TikTok. Just let me hit the live button here on TikTok. I don't think TikTok is slow. I think it's this other phone that I'm using is kind of slow. I push a button, it takes a few minutes. Oh my god, there's questions too. So just give me a second, guys. Really, I'm pushing a button and it's not working. Can I push the button, please? Something's happening and then it doesn't. I would like to go live on TikTok. I go live on TikTok, guys. I'm interested in expanding the audience, and it's a little bit of a different demographic out there. And the whole purpose for me coming on these live shows and talking to all you guys, the purpose for that is to expand the knowledge and awareness of Sasquatch. It's really important to me. So I'll talk about so grizzly bear boar is there, big monstrous grizzly bear boar, and he's maybe looking for a fight. He's a little cranky, and I'd look at the bear. So your mentality and your energy is so important, right? So look at the bear and I go, "You want a piece of me? Like I'm a bad dude. Like I've got my gun. You want to fight? Let's fight. Come on, let's go. Let's dance." That's a young dumbass attitude that I used to have. Really dumbass. So the bear would look at me and go, "Yeah, yeah," and he'd walk away like kind of pissed off, like I want to fight you, but I'm not going to. And I'd be like, "Yeah, you better keep walking because I'll end your life." Like I used to have. I'm just gonna be transparent. I was a bit of a hothead when I was younger. Maybe not a bit, maybe a lot. Like I had this football player, athlete, tough guy, martial artist attitude. I just did. And love me or hate me for it, that's a reality of who I was. When I was a doorman in nightclubs, I like somebody wanted to fight, I'd be like, let's go, let's do some training, right? So I was kind of a weird guy that way. And no apologies, that's just who I was. So what's changed me as a parent that my children need me. Like I have a lot to do with them. My son is I'm mentoring him with his football, with his life, how to grow up and be a good person, and it's really important that I do that. But now when I come across a bear, like I did this year, even there was a big incident that was a little bit public where that grizzly bear sow was out in front of me. And I look at her and I feel like I'm more dangerous now. I look at her and go, I'm going home to my children. And now there's a love, right? There's like, I love my children and I'm going home to them. They need me and you're going to let me pass. Because if you don't let me pass, I will still end your life. Like before, you want to fight, I'll end your life. But now it's not about me just having my ego and I'm tougher than you. Now I feel like it's something the animals understand better because now I need to go past you because I have something extremely important to do and it's bigger than me. It's more important than just some egotistical thing. Now I have beautiful children that I'm going home to. And that is also why I believe people feel like grizzly bear sows are dangerous because they're not fighting just to fight off or to get a meal like a boar would be or a male bear. They're fighting to save a life of a child. And now as a father, when I go into the wilderness, even with Sasquatch, like when something horrible is happening, when there's something dangerous, I'm more motivated to survive and get home because I'm a parent and my children need me. Does that make sense? If you just joined us from TikTok, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I worked for moderators today, so I want my moderators to go kick some butt and make this channel really good. I'm so sorry. You know, I'm going to move TikTok for a second because I think the lens is dirty on the camera. I don't know why it's so dirty like that. Is that better? Oh my God, that's so much better, isn't it? So thank you for joining us, everybody from TikTok. In TikTok, everybody in TikTok can see I'm wearing a Colts jersey. I went to Indianapolis this year just to visit and go on a vacation a bit. It was wonderful and awesome. I didn't do any Bigfoot research down there. Although, oh my God, if John Hunsinger, if you're on today, I know I have to talk to you about just other business, John, but there's somebody in Indianapolis. I got to get on that. Where do they even go? Some dude from Indianapolis contacted me. He's got some sick Sasquatch stuff going on. So I'd like John to go down. That's the cool thing about me is I've got so many expeditioners in so many states and provinces across North America and the United States and Canada. If somebody seems legit, oh, it's right. It's who's probably on here. So Chris, hey Chris, how's it going? Chris knows James Penner. James will probably be on here today. James, let's go get John to have a look at this Indianapolis guy because John could go drive down there and John has done 2 years with me. He's trained. He could get us some. So yeah, that's how it all pans together. So now that everybody's on board and we're like a good 10 minutes into the show and even everybody's on board from TikTok, thanks for joining us today. So I don't know. So this is the announcement. I got to talk to Paul about this. So uh, I'm just going to be really transparent because I like to be that way. I did a solo expedition, mostly thanks to Paul. Paul made that expedition happen. Much gratitude to you, my friend, for allowing that to transpire. I really wanted footage. So what happened is I'm out there and I slept the night in cold weather. It probably got down about -7, pretty cold, maybe -10. It was really chilly. So I got up and I was having Sasquatch around me doing stuff. And I actually did have a sighting. I didn't really want to talk about it because I was really cranky about the sighting because I had 3 freaking cameras and none of the damn things were working. They were all froze up. My camera my phone camera was frozen. I found out when it's cold, if you go to turn it on, it actually shows a little temperature thing. It says cold and it won't turn on at a certain temperature. Even though it was in my jacket, it was still too cold. The other camera, one was around my neck. Forget about that. I tried to turn it on, it didn't work. But I had one in my backpack, the old SX50 that I used to film Kubota. It turned on. So I've got a Sasquatch there kind of maneuvering around. But the camera turns on, the lens won't come out. So it's going tick, 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 tick. So the lens is frozen shut. And if the lens won't open, it comes on, but it doesn't seem to be working. So I hit the record button and I didn't notice. So I have the record button. I have the light broken out of it because when you're out there, this is some cool stuff, guys. You should know this. So when I get a camera, you turn it on, it goes bling. I kill that speaker. I bust it. No bling. If there's a Sasquatch out there or a wild animal, and I turn the camera on, it goes bling. That's bad. I want the camera to come on dead silent. When the camera comes on, it goes as the lens comes out. I can deal with that. So I bust that little thing. The other thing I break is there's a light that comes on when you're hitting record. If I'm out there in the middle of nowhere, there's a blinking red light, that's bad. So I bust that light out of there on my cameras. I don't want a blinking red light. Believe me, I know it's recording. I can see it. Or I thought I could. So there's a Sasquatch moving around, and I hit the record button. It seems to not be working. It seems to come on and then stop when the camera's going in and out and doing weird things. So I just kind of I'm even trying to get a look at this Sasquatch. So I'm kind of panning around for 15 minutes. I'm trying to get the damn thing to record. It doesn't seem to be working. Guess what, Paul? It was working. I've got 15 minutes of blurry, crappy footage, and I've got multiple shots of a shadowy figure ducked down, moving around. And I even there were shots I got of the tracks. There's some nice tracks because the tracks, there's a little bit of snow on the ground and the sphagnum moss is hard. So there's some decent tracks that I filmed of the individual. I have, so this year I've got a total blob squatch that it was on the Logan Billy uh, expedition with Richard and Bill. So I have some blurry stuff. They were out there, just some blurry footage. It's the shape of Jake's head, so it is what it is. We'll talk about that and we'll look into it. It was an interesting little thing. This is better. This looks like a Sasquatch, and so I was trying to go over the footage this week, and it makes me sick because it's so shaky. It's so bad. Like, and I just couldn't. I haven't been able to handle it, but I've been going through it section by section. I'm going to start releasing some stills and stuff of it because it's some pretty cool stuff. So I wanted to tell that to Paul first, but I know Paul won't mind me being transparent, and no, you guys don't mind. So there's something that's oh my God, somebody made a huge donation. Is that you, Darren? That better not be you, Darren. Hey brother, 2025 is this year launched. Let me know. Oh yeah, and you need to come out on expedition. Thank you, Darren, and YouTube thanks you when you make a donation on YouTube. YouTube gets the donation. Darren, I'm grateful for the platform, but I'm not so. Anyways, it is what it is. So thanks, Darren. I appreciate it. If you want to make a donation to me, I am a full-time researcher. I'm on Patreon and discoveringbigfoot.org. Andy on YouTube will put that up. I don't have my moderators have a lot to learn because I have new moderators on TikTok. If any of you are on TikTok, like man, that would be huge for me. Even not Andy. Andy, you stay here. Andy is Andy is my dude on here. If there's any of you who are on TikTok, like Royal Creations, Chris, Citizen Scientist, if you guys are on TikTok, I would love it if you went on there. And even I'm not getting too many questions on TikTok. I'll do a couple questions, guys. Hold tight. But I'd also, if I could, my moderators on YouTube are freaking brilliant. These guys have been watching these shows and they've been on, if they haven't been on expedition with me, like Citizen Scientists or Royal Creations or half a dozen other amazing people, they'll answer questions. I'd like to have Royal Creations on TikTok, and I'll just tell you people on TikTok, when that man answers a question, trust him because he knows. And it would kind of help move things along. I'd like to keep passing on as much information as possible I want to get this stuff out there because it's so important. So let's go back. So now that we have that out of the way, and this stuff will be coming out, guys, I have all winter. I'm not doing expeditions anymore till April. I go to Nia Bay, where I will see you again, Paul. Looking forward to that. And it's also Matt and his brother Dan. If you watch my YouTube videos from a couple years ago, Matt and Dan came up. Matt is a medical doctor. He's a kidney specialist. So you'll like him, Paul. He's really cool, really up your alley. And then Dan is just a good, hardworking, amazing guy who had tremendous success on expedition with me. So that's my Nia Bay expedition. There's no more application for it. Nia Bay is done. I knew it would be like this. Nia Bay is such a beautiful place. The Makah Native people are amazing. Um, Everybody, I want you all to keep Nia Bay in mind because in the not so distant future, I'm going to be doing a Bigfoot seminar there. I'll get like Survivor Man to come out and Jeff Meldrum and some other people like Robert Kreider. I'm kind of a fan of his. There's a Colorado Bigfoot guy that's doing really well. I'll get some fun guys to come out. We'll do a nice little festival there because that place is so amazing. And I could take people out, like even just walk around and do some exploration. So that's kind of next level is doing a Sasquatch, seminar where the keynote speaker is going to be taking people out. And even not even me, don't even worry about that. Larry can take people out, Brian can take people out, get people introduced because I'm also going to announce this. So I announced that footage is cool. Documentary's doing really good. Some stuff happening, so let's see what happens. It's big people doing big talk, and we'll see what they're going to actually produce. But I want Nia Bay to be the first other Discovering Bigfoot Research Center. If not the first and the second, it'll be in top thing. So I got stuff. So you guys know too. I went out and did one expedition in Nordegg, the Survivor Man Bigfoot Nordegg, if you remember that spot. And that's where Meljum saw a Sasquatch, and I filmed that. And frickin' David Wolf and my son saw a Sasquatch. And then I had some people, man, there's a native man and his wife out there. Boy, they are awesome. They sure would do good hosting expeditions. I should think about that. Besides the fact that I've got like Kyle and a couple of the people that would do things. And Jason, there's a lady in Ontario. Jason Shoot, if you're on today. Found a really amazing lady in Ontario that you need to go out with, Jason. So if you see that, just because I have so many phone calls to make. It's literally you guys understand why I'm so busy. 33 expeditioners are coming out. That is enormous. And every single one of these people get my time, get my patience, talk to me, ask me questions over and over. We're working out all these scheduling and putting everything in place and stuff. So it's a tremendous amount of responsibility. Besides the fact that I'm working on the documentary and all the other stuff that I do being a dad and that kind of thing. So really, it's a really exciting time. I guess the other announcement, so that's the Nia Bay announcement I want to talk about. And this huge announcement. Are you guys ready for this? So I went and I got my toughest expeditioners. Well, I don't know about tough. Yeah, tough. Guys that are tough and part of the research and intelligent and all these combinations. So it's Marcos, did a little video on him from Ontario. I got medical doctor Billy, who did his first expedition with me this year, and tough as nails Logan. You know what we're going to do, guys? We're going to go we're going to work to get to. We may not succeed, but we're going to try because I've never done this with other people. I always did this alone. And when I used to go backcountry for the Jake video, so video 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all those videos were filmed up over on the other side of the mountain. We're going to go there, right? Be impressed. I have never. Survivor Man sat down with me, says, I want to go where you shot the videos. I showed him where it goes, where it is. He says, I can't go there. I know. It's that bad. It's that bad. It's that hard. It's it's so extremely like holy hell difficult to get over the mountains to where I used to be. My expeditions, listen to this. When I was in top, like Navy SEAL shape, like a beast, like an absolute savage, top physical shape, I would light jog up and over mountains for 3 days to get to the research area where I would get the footage. I'd only be there for 2 or 3 days. If I was there for 3 days, it'd take me 3 days to get back because when you do these, it's like over, up, over. There's no easy way back. It's up, over, and then up, over on the way back. It's not any easier. It's the same. You start at 4,000 feet and you go all the way to the other side of this expedition, and then you end up at 4,000 feet. So it doesn't matter how many times you go up and down, you end up at the same starting point. It's brutal. So a 9 day expedition means 3 days in the area. That was a lot. I rarely did that. I usually could go up for 8 days. So that means 2 days only. And I actually needed the 2 days just to recuperate because I was so exhausted for bleeding, hiking for 16 hours a day for 3 days straight. It was brutal. I just kill myself. You get there so exhausted, you try to recuperate, and you run out of food. There's always an abundance of water, but it's really hard on my body, very taxing. But what's so exciting is we're all the greatest footage I've ever gotten. I mean, footage. Why you ask? Why haven't you taken people out there to see Sasquatch? Uh, I am not in shape enough, me personally. This year, I was never fit enough to have done that trip in any faster. You understand, in a 3 day trip, if you're jogging, if you just hike fast, it'll take you 4.5 days. 4.5 plus 4.5, in case you're wondering, is 9 days. You just hike in and hike out. You literally hike in, tap Sasquatch habitat, and get the hell out of there. That's not reasonable. If you're in good shape, like, no, if you're in, so there's okay shape, good shape, very good shape, excellent shape. Excellent will get you there in 3 days. Very good, probably 4 days. Yeah, it would be. Very good would be 4 days. So if you're in very good shape, like point 0.1, top 1% of fitness, you get there in 4 freaking days. 4 days in, 4 days out, 8 day expedition. Have a nice day. Can't really do more than that. Trust me, when you go backcountry like that and you're getting your ass handed to you, 8 days of hiking up and down through mountains is tough. It's really tough. Carrying your food, sleeping bags, equipment, water, it's freaking hard. So you have no time to film. What's going to change is technology. I'm not going to get into it any more than that, but the plan is on the first expedition is these men, these great men, are going to come in with me. And we're going to cut it open.
Got a message from Auntie.
Okay, is it important or can I wait?
So she's at Winners
Uh-huh.
in Sunder's Mall.
Okay,
At the metal doors. Something
okay,
like that.
we'll be there in about, I'd say, 70 minutes from now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
So sorry, just a little family thing there, but for the first time in the history of Todd Standing's research, and this is serious, guys, because this is the hottest spot in the world for Sasquatch live interactions and eyewitnessing. There is no place in the world. I challenge you to show me a place where you have over 60 individuals that have had live interactions or sightings in a particular spot, like in a concentrated area. Oh, and within a span of like, what is it, 6 years? No, it's probably 10 years now. Like including Survivor Man, it is 10 years. So, but I took Survivor Man out, I took a couple film crews out, but expeditions only really started maybe 6 years ago. So in the span of 6 years, you know, 60 people have had live interactions or sightings of a Sasquatch in this particular area, and it's not going anywhere. It's never going to stop. There'll be more next year, year after. We'll get better and better. I predict. So, 3 years ago, I had my drone, my thermal drone that failed. That was 2 years ago. So this last year, it was the cameras that we put out for the motion cameras and audio recordings. They succeeded. It was the power sources that failed. The generators and the solar panels are just a crap show. Solar panel is a hoax and a lie. It's garbage. It doesn't work anywhere near it. They lie about the power it produces. Just as a side, Eco, Anchor, uh, Jackall, they're all a bunch of liars. And I'd like to take a minute to call you a bunch of lying sons of bitches, because your generators, your alleged generators, don't produce anywhere near the electricity you liars say, and they break down the Anchor highest quality crap. The solar panels all rotten out, and the $6,000 solar generator won't even go on. And you know, it's so bad. I'm so unimpressed with these companies. Don't buy Anchor products; they're garbage. Don't buy Jackall. That crap is garbage. And Eco solar panels are mediocre. So that's my rant about that. So that was successful. We got some good stuff. Logan worked really hard on it. I busted my ass for it. So that was the big thing this year. Next year, it's over into, how do I put this? Where they're in, I'm going to quote Jeff Meldrum. So the first thing Jeff Meldrum says is, if indeed they are real. So he's talking about my footage, and they are. So I'll finish it. That real footage, the greatest footage in existence, has been recorded in that area. The greatest eyewitness accountings that have been filmed in the history of humanity are in that area. And I got three badass dudes going out with me on this expedition. I'm not going to say the date or anything. I'm going to go try to cut the trails a little bit first myself and do some recon as best I can. But I got three dudes, three men, some of the best that I've ever worked with are going out with me, and that some of the best that have ever worked with me that adhere to these specific parameters that I need. Like this is the team I need for this expedition. They are incredible, amazing men, male or men. This is a man expedition. So these great men are going to come out with Todd Standing, and we're going to go into Sasquatch habitat like no one has ever seen before, in the hottest, where the hottest evidence, like video 4, video 5, video 6, video 7, video 8, Kubota, was all filmed over there. I can actually take these men and go, that was where I filmed Jane. That's where I filmed Jake. No one's ever done that, guys. So, and it's going to start a whole new thing, because in 2026, once us men have broken the trail and gone through the boots on the ground of what it's going to take and how we're going to get out there and laid the foundation, in 2026, I will be taking many people out there. So it's three planned, Todd Standing and three more. So four individuals, including me, will go into the greatest, where the greatest evidence in the history of Sasquatch, or at least maybe the second greatest, because the Patterson is pretty amazing. But the Patterson is not multiple footage, and I am. So where the most footage has ever been gained of Sasquatch in existence. So it's a really big deal. I'm thoroughly excited about it. It's one of the most exciting things I've ever done. I haven't been back there for like, I don't know, 8 years. It's been a long time since I've been back there personally. So this is a really, really big deal. Todd Stanley hasn't been back there in 8 years. And before that, into this specific region where I'm going, where we're going to be taking people, human beings have never been before. It's not human habit. No natives ever claim to have been anywhere near that area. They haven't. And so we're living here on this beautiful planet called Earth. I am the first man in the history of humanity that's ever been there. No human's been there. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. I've done my history of the natives. Only the natives could have ever been there. Human beings have not been there. There's no place for it. That's why the Sasquatch chose this area. It's beyond the reach of the hominid species, commonly referred to as Homo sapien sapien, human beings, us. My throat's getting dry. I have no water. Fade in. I just need to get some water. I'm going to start coughing. But so that's very exciting news. So I'm way into this live show, and that's incredible. So ignite your spark. Well, I saw a couple questions. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. So Sasquatch is called the Boom. People on my YouTube channel are saying boom, boom, boom. Hello from Oklahoma. We love you and all you. Hope you're having a wonderful day and blessed Thanksgiving. Oh, it's Thanksgiving in the United States. Happy Thanksgiving. In Canada, we did it mid-October. So, Todd, you've got to feel vindicated, for the lack of a better term, with military medical science finally beginning to own the truth of Sabe. Thanks, Stacy. What a nice thing for you to say. I appreciate that. I would make you a moderator, Stacy, but I don't seem to be able to do that. Oh, there it is. Add as moderator. Congratulations, Stacy. You are a moderator. So, and congratulations for all of us on this success with Sasquatch. I'm really, really excited about it. So I saw one from Citizen Scientist. Citizen Scientist is a regular on my YouTube channel. His question is, he always has good questions. What would it take for the government to be forced to admit the existence of the species, a body? So let's talk about that for a second, because I did a video. I did a quick 1 minute short. Man, I don't like doing those. I do them for frickin' YouTube because TikTok is amazing. I look at TikTok because they allow more than 1 minute. They don't squish me down. The jerks in YouTube, those meatheads, won't let you do more than 60 seconds. So I'm trying to crush it in a little bit. So what I said in there is I'm a little pissed off. I'm talking about what's it going to take for humans to for pop culture to accept that this species is real. I've had DNA. I take people out and I show them the Sasquatch. I was right behind me. Just 1 second. Tatiana. So come here, please. For those of you who don't know, Tatiana's my daughter. I need some water. Fill it halfway up. Thank you. So I've had all the success. I filmed Sasquatch all these times. Behind me was where Survivor Man filmed the top. Behind me right now are, where is it? That's Jane, Kubota, and Jake. Is that what it is? Can't really see Jake at the bottom over there. So where I've had all this success filming Sasquatch. Thank you, girl. Can you close the door too, please? Yeah. I've had all the success with Sasquatch. Why don't people believe me? Like, what's it going to take? And then I say quickly, because I'm in a rush, can't get a body. And then I talk about blah, 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 but what can I do? And then people come back and go, why can't you get a body? Blah, 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 blah. Can't you get a body? And I'll tell you why. You cannot hunt Sasquatch. And those of you out there are going to go, so I'll be devil's advocate. Of course you can't. Anything. Of course they could be killed. But you need to understand they're telepathic. I'm not going to make any bones about it. They're telepathic beings. You can't hunt something that knows what your intent is as you approach it. And I don't want to get into this too much. I'm just even understand this. If you're going to argue with me about go shoot one, blah, 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 I'll tell you something. I did get close enough to shoot them on multiple occasions. I could have shot one this year if I had a gun. If I'd had a gun and I was out to shoot them, though, I wouldn't have seen them, would be my argument. But let's say I did. Let's say this year, when I went on Paul's expedition, and I pulled out my gun and I shot that Sasquatch that I got some footage of. Do you know what would have happened to me? Probably when I pulled up, I would hypothesize The minute I pulled out a gun, I'd have been killed. There's like 3 or 4 Sasquatch out there. They're not alone. I've never seen a lone Sasquatch. Never. Look at that video of me. Even take it. Look, video 6 in my movie. I'm looking at a Sasquatch. Hey, there's the back of a Sasquatch. You know how close I was? I must have been like 30 yards away from that Sasquatch. What happened when I got to 29 yards? Do you remember? I'll illuminate you. So there's a Sasquatch here. There's another one over here growling at me. You could hear him growling at me, really cool. But what I didn't take into account was a Sasquatch that was over here that had a freaking 50-pound log and tossed it at me and knocked me on my ass. If I'd have shot that Sasquatch, that log wouldn't have been gently lobbed at me. Even if it was thrown at me the way it was, that log would have hit me, and then the Sasquatch would have came on top of me, and I'd have had a 900-pound, 9-foot-tall primate on top of me that would have killed me. I would be dead. If I'd have shot a Sasquatch this year on Paul's expedition when I was alone, I would have been killed. I'd be dead. You don't take these guys on. Like, come on, guys. Maybe somebody did go out there. Maybe somebody was so amazing and snuck up on a Sasquatch. Nah, they're so good. Like, they're so amazing. You guys don't understand. I'm literally out here when I'm trying to communicate with regular, like there's normal people. There's a really good tracker and a hunter. There are lots of them out there. Then there's these guys, they don't spend the time I do in the wilderness, but they're good. Then there's like elite level dudes like me. I spend hundreds of days. I spent over 2,000 days in the backcountry, trained by the best trackers in the world, right there. Then you get the old school native people that lived in the wilderness. I don't even think they exist anymore, that were hunters and trackers and lived in teepees, that level. Then you get a space, then you get Sasquatch. And when I'm trying to talk to normal people, it's here about here. Do you understand? These guys, there's Sasquatch, a space, then the old natives, they would laugh at you if you would have tried to harm a Sasquatch. They're like, you're never going to sneak up on them. You couldn't sneak up on these guys. Never mind somebody 2 levels above them. Is that getting through to you? Is that resonating? Like, so at the level I'm at, the old natives are a level above me. They would kill me. They would own me in the bush. If they had bows and arrows and I went with guns, I would die. Do you understand that? That's the level we're talking about that the old native trackers had. Okay? You want to go take on something that's 3 levels above me? I'm going to tell you something, guys. If I put on my ghillie suit and I went out in the wilderness and you versed me, you would not survive. The chances of you winning, it's literally, let me help you understand this. Mike Tyson's kind of in the news right now. Imagine putting a 5-year-old kid in the ring with Mike Tyson, even at 60. Is that going to be a good fight? Nope. That's how I can compare it to you. And trust me, that's the level we're talking about. I know the birds, the squirrels, the terrain. I know how to move. I know the wind gauge. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Like there's something about being counter surveillance, survival, evasion, escape techniques. Man, the stuff that I can do, a stalk with me, you're in trouble. Don't verse me, you're going to lose. You can't take on somebody with my level of experience. And I'm saying this because I want you to understand the Sasquatch, they will smoke my ass. The only times I ever thought I was ahead, it was only because I was so far behind that I thought I was ahead. I was so back behind them. I thought, I must be ahead. What I didn't realize is the Sasquatch were so advanced. There were so many steps ahead of me that I couldn't even conceive it. That's how good they are. So you can't shoot one. And then all that being said, even, understand this. I love the Sasquatch the way Diane Fossey and Jane Goodall love their gorillas or chimpanzees, respectively. Like Diane Fossey kind of went nuts when they killed her favorite gorilla, Digit. She didn't kind of go nuts. She went nuts. She went off the deep end. That was probably one of her best friends, if not her best friend. And I understand the relationship she had with him because I felt that way about particular my Sasquatch, Jake. And now some new Sasquatch are really getting close to me, and I feel very close with them. And if they were harmed, it would break my heart. It would hurt me. It would be like a family member was taken away from me. And then, but it's different though, because Digit was murdered for his head and his hands. You know, like, can you imagine seeing, I hate to say this, guys, imagine seeing somebody you really cared about decapitated and the hands gone, and knowing the head and the hand was going to, like the hand was going to be an ashtray, and some asshole is going to have the head on his freaking, it's a horrible thing. that to know that someone you loved and cared about was taken as a trophy and murdered for money and greed, right? So I, that's why she went a little crazy, and I don't blame her. And but anyways, the point is, I have that relationship. I couldn't shoot one, and I would not shoot one for all the money in the world. There's not enough value. I wouldn't murder any more than I would murder a good, honest person for money. Hey, you see Bob over there? Yeah, Bob's a good guy. I like Bob. He's a nice man. Yeah, would you kill him? No. It's not in my morality to do that. And I don't even know Bob, the neighbor, very well. I like him. He's a nice guy. I'm not going to murder him. He's got a family. Like, he has every right to be here. And I have a morality that won't allow for that. I've also I've also met men and I work with men who have confirmed kills. I don't want to be that. I don't aspire to be that. I couldn't do that. I can see how they are and the cost of having murdered human beings is, and it's not worth it to me. And that's not me. So, and I'm saying that because I feel at least that I feel equivalently morally justified in not even harming a Sasquatch. I would help them. If my neighbor needed help, I would defend him. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of morality I have. And if the Sasquatch needed help, I would defend them and help them. So that's why murdering one for money or even to prove they exist, it can't be done, and I refuse to do it. So there's two reasons, and you really can't get past that. I couldn't do it. It's not possible for me to do that. Understand? I'm telling you, I couldn't do it. I could hunt anything. I could hunt and kill anything. No problem. I'd get it done. You tell me you need a rhino, a lion, the most elusive panther in the world. I'll go learn the ecology, hunt it, and kill it. I'll get it done. So watch. Sasquatch? Nope. They are no. They are nothing like animals. I don't. I'm going to call them not animals because they're hominids like us, and I believe. But hominids are animals too. I don't know. I don't have this debate right now. Let's do a question on TikTok here. What's going on TikTok? So lots of stuff. Um, the lip sync is off. That sucks. Bigfoot Society is turned on. I had a little speech earlier about Bigfoot Society. The ghillie suit through, oh my God, must be tiresome, lunging up and down the mountains. That's when you were in shape, which is correct. So Teresa asked me about the ghillie suit. You know what? So she does it about tiresome. The ghillie suit is hard. She's right. It's not like you think. Like, it's not heavy. What's tough about it, moving around the ghillie suit, is with the little. My favorite ghillie suit is the new one that's in the videos and stuff. It's not new. I've had it for 20 years. It's a newer style. The old way that I made them with the snipers that I worked with, we'd use burlap strips, and then we'd color them different, and then we'd tie them all together on a body. Those were worse. First, like, it was almost like they were Velcro and they stick to branches and trees and stuff. It was pretty frustrating. There's certain kind of trees that you go through, like low bush trees, where the ghillie suit is it's like Velcro and it sticks to it, and it is a little bit annoying. It's not bad on the pine trees, the Rocky Mountain Douglas fir and the lodgepole pines, which are the majority of the trees where I do my work. It's really good in those areas. But yeah, when you get to the low bushes and stuff, it's very poppy and sticky, and the branches get twisted into little gilly things that come off, all those little spur colors. So it is definitely incumbent and difficult. So let's see. I'll do one more. I'll do another TikTok question here. I can find one. People are giving. There's all sorts of weird things going on TikTok. Gifts, diamonds, roses. People are giving me. I don't know anything about that. We call them the old ones. Who? This is from Jim on a Limb. Call them the old ones. Huh. Sasquatch, the old ones. We call them the old ones. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Because old, like wisdom, right? That makes sense to me. I would actually, I like that name. I'll tell you why. Old ones. So the ultimate conservative, right? Conservative species who do very little to change or change extremely slowly, change in the evolutionary process of nature is Sasquatch. The bears are doing what they've done for, you know, mostly the same for, probably hundreds of thousands of years, right? But since the last ice age, they evolve and they move and they change slowly. So the old ones would be, yeah, that's such a cool name. I like that. I won't be using it. because I like Sabe. Sabe is my favorite. So the term Sabe, I know many of you heard it before. It it means it represents in the seven sacred teachings. It represents transparency, honesty, and like telepathy. So being transparent, and truthful, and honest. And it also the being that represents that is Sabe, and Sabe is the term they use, the Blackfoot people, and I freaking love it. Question from Paul: do the Sasquatch change their behaviors when the weather starts getting colder? Oh man, absolutely yes. Yes. What happens is as the weather gets colder, so as fall comes into it, it's there's a bit of a Mardi Gras that happens, like the powwows and stuff would happen with the native people, and so the berries, and that's as the weather starts getting colder. You don't say snow specifically, but the berries, the best berries, take the longest to ripen. Those are the bear berries. Man, I love them. And they're kind of done in September, and then you just go to the rose hips, and the rose hips get good. Um, yeah, bearberries are pretty much gone. But you fatten up in September on the bearberries. You have strawberries in August with the bunch berries, and then you'll get the thimbleberries in my ecology early. So you're going through the berry process. So through that time, though, it's berries, 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 berries. The animals get fat and bigger. They have to. The elk and the deer and the moose have to fatten right up, as fat as they can get for October, because when the snow hits, that's the harsh time of year they have to survive. If they're not big and fat and heavy and healthy, they're not going to make it through the winter. So, and the animals like the Sasquatch that eat the elk and deer and moose and bighorn sheep and mountain goats and all that stuff, um, will get more fat too. So it's the Mardi Gras time. So they're more interested in coming around and interacting and playing as it gets colder. And also as it gets colder, this is something I feel in my heart. I think they know that you're leaving. And when I leave, they know I'm not coming back till the spring. So I'm gone for 5 months. I'm out. Peace out. They're like, oh, he's leaving for 5 months. And even I taught you this, Paul. On the last days of the expeditions, that's usually when I get the most success. Jeff Meldrum saw a Sasquatch a couple hours before he was leaving. And those are generally the best times because you're putting out an energy. Like I'm going, I'm leaving. And someone like the expeditioners, they're not coming back till next year. If you want to meet Paul, you better talk to Paul now because Paul's going and Paul has that energy. I'm leaving and I want, and I'm going back home. And if there's a time to meet, let's do it now. So um, that and so I believe they come around more because you're leaving, and I see that happening in the fall as the snow's coming into fly. Everything knows that it's going to be time to go into winter mode right away, and everything kind of like winter is like a sleepy time, relaxing, hibernating, and just surviving and getting through it. There's no abundance in the winter. There's not a friggin' species that goes woo woo hoo. Winter's coming. I'm going to fatten up. Nope. You're going to suffer. You're going to feel pain, and you are going to have to fight with every ounce of your life to survive. That's winter. It's harsh. And they, knowing that that's coming, they're going to explode and do everything they can because that last little bit of joy is happening. So that's the definitive change I see as the weather gets colder. So good question, Paul. Thank you. Tim says, boom, hope everyone is well from Virginia. Oh, I didn't get to see if we're having an international show today. Hey, Todd, I know they're real. They don't want to believe in them. They don't want to believe in them. Thanks, William. I agree with you. They're definitely real. I was a bouncer as well in the 90s in Edmonton. Really, Eric. I wonder if we met. So Eric, I worked at Thunderdome. I worked for Paul Vickers. Was that the 90s? Might have been the 90s. I was right out there. So yeah, I worked for the Club Malibu's. I worked at Club Malibu Bourbon Street. I worked at Boca's Beach Club on the north side, and then just a bunch of other nightclubs and stuff. Those are the big ones that I worked with though. So it was a good experience for me. So uh, Eric's saying he was a bouncer in Edmonton in the 90s. You probably like I was around everywhere. People really knew me. I was running door staff and um, I had no trouble getting a job as a doorman. Nightclubs are kind of finicky, and I could walk in any nightclub and go, oh hey Todd, I know you. Can I have a job here? I'm looking to. I did those nightclub jobs because it was an awesome way to go to university. The weekend was a great time to work, and even evening weekends was just a perfect job for a university student like me, who was also training, football player, getting big, and I thoroughly enjoyed martial arts. Look at these guys. So there's Chris, there's James, all these moderators having a little powwow there. John Amber says, I live in southern Indiana and I believe they are here. Well, John, Amber, please contact us. If any of you have any information about Sasquatch, my email address is bigfootencounter@gmail.com. If you've had a Bigfoot encounter, send us an email. I would love to hear about it. As you might have heard just on the show, John Amber, I have a friend, John Hunsinger, that lives in Indianapolis, and James is having someone who's having very interesting stuff. So look at all this. Like James is like, hey Paul, hey Chris, hey Andy, hey mods. That's so cool. So yeah, Andy's got some stuff going on. Listen to what Andy's saying. Um, Immense of oots. One thing about Sasquatch, you never ever get clear, direct footage of them for decided nothing. Well, I disagree with you. Immense of oots. What the heck does that mean? Immense of oots. Never get clear footage. My footage is amazing. It's not going to get much better than that. I focused like amazing on Jake. Even I think the Patterson footage is spectacular. Like I think the problem you might be seeing is people zoom in on it so crazy, and then it gets blurry. Like even video 3 of mine, it's crystal clear. Just I didn't zoom in, and then when people zoom in, it gets all blurry. If you just let it sit in its original form, it's crystal clear. Like I'm gonna say it, crystal clear, perfect footage. I was only freaking 50 yards away, right? And if I zoom in, I'm gonna lose him because he's running, right? And in video 2, the only reason it's not perfectly crystal clear is it's getting a little bit dark. So darkness is setting in, and the camera that I used back in 2000 and it was a 2005 camera, right? The technology for nighttime was poor, but it's still great footage. The only reason it's blurry is people zoom in. The Jake footage is awesome, dude. There's moments I did zoom in a little bit. I must have zoomed in at least 10 times and got perfect focus on him. You can see me going, that's it, focus, boom, smash, got him. So, I disagree. I think we have excellent, people are so snooty about it. I mean, with my footage, nobody looks at my footage and goes, that's a bear, right? The only thing people bitch and complain about, the dumbass haters out there, is it's a costume or something. Nobody says that's a stump. For God's sake, Kubota, he's blinking like crazy. Like Jeff Meldrum looked at that footage, and I'm going to quote him. He said, I can't look at that footage and not feel like I'm looking into the eyes of a living being. Everybody who sees that agrees with me. So now what people say is it's prosthetics, it's costume. Okay, but it's clear enough, and that's all the clarity we need to go, that's not a stump. That's a living, breathing, like Kubota's cheeks move and his nose flares. Can I see if I can do it? His nose flared like that. Good luck getting a prosthetic to get the cheekbones to move and the nose to flare. Not going to happen. I mean, they can't do that. Hollywood's never done that. So how the hell did Todd Standing pull it off? Don't be ridiculous. It's preposterous. And then you get that. So my point is though, here you have this footage that's either there's only two possibilities. Either that's a costume or that's a new species that we don't know about. There's no man that looks like that. There's no animal that looks like that. It's a new species. You can say that with the Patterson footage. It's either a man in a suit or it's a species we don't know about. Okay? So let's start there. Then I go, okay, don't take my word for it. Come out with me and I will show you a Sasquatch. That's the expeditions. That's Survivorman Bigfoot. That's Discovering Bigfoot, my movie. I literally went and called the best 3 human beings on the planet. I went through a list. I go, no, he's not the best. I took do you understand that? I picked the top 3 best in the world. Doctor and professor of anatomy and anthropology, Jeff Meldrum. Doctor, PhD, wildlife biologist, John Bennernagel. Okay? And then I was like, okay, I got the PhDs and stuff. Who's the baddest, toughest survivalist SOB that walks? Who is legitimately a guy who could film it, boots on the ground, tough it out? There is nobody tougher than Survivorman. He is the best. His show is legit. The man is real. Bear Grylls is full of crap. He's a liar. His show is fake and fraud. He's a good guy. He's doing well now, and good for him. He's a fraud. He's a liar. He's a cheat. I know this. That's how he got famous. There's nobody in the Bigfoot community that can compete with Survivor Man for his level of wow. And it's even better, isn't it, that Survivor Man isn't really part of the Bigfoot community. For me to take him out and show him a Sasquatch, he's a skeptic. Awesome. Let's do that. Because John Bitternagel and Jeff Meldrum were, talking about Bigfoot and had a, believed the evidence supported the reality of a species. I'll say that. Uh, what John and Jeff don't want is they don't want to be considered proponents of Sasquatch. They want us, they stand there and they go, no, as scientists, as PhD doctors that have been working in the, so John's been boots on the ground his whole life in the wilderness as a wildlife biologist. And Jeff is a professor of anatomy and anthropology. Got the best track collection and the best modeling and knowledge of Sasquatch bipedalism and the anatomy of a foot in existence. He's the man. So when I took those dudes out, you can have your skepticism about it. But Survivor Man just finished it, made this perfect triangle. I needed 3 of the best, and that's what I did. And I took them all out. Jeff saw a Sasquatch. John was convinced of my work with all the live interactions that he had, and more was happening with John than that. And you saw Survivor Man. He was around Sasquatch. Every episode, there's a Sasquatch around. So on every episode of Survivor Man Bigfoot, he had some kind of live interaction that was substantiated with evidence. Did I win? Yeah, I killed it. Like even people like, what are you doing now? I don't know. What do you want me to do? I took out the best in the world. I'll continue to take out anybody who wants to go out with me. I'll continue to get more footage. I'll continue to get more evidence. Go shoot one. Can't, won't. We went through that already. So this is the position that I'm in. What the hell, DNA? I had DNA. I'll get DNA again. I'm looking at DNA again because now you can do full genome and some pretty impressive stuff. So I just take a deep breath because geneticists are the most conservative little whiny woke jerks in the world. Like Todd, that guy who did a Bigfoot show, what a chump. If you're out there, Todd, you're a chump. That jerk, he led me on for months, and I got the evidence to prove it. He's talking with me. First, he's all like, oh, I'm Todd Disotell. You know how awesome I am? I'm a geneticist. No, you're not. You're just So he went and checked my credentials. He phoned Jeff Meldrum, who's a professor, and Jeff's like, that dude is legit. Legit. Go do the DNA with him, please. John Bitternagel, he says the same thing. Todd's legit. Go do the DNA with him. He'll get you some Sasquatch DNA. Then Todd, the amazing, wonderful Disotell, oh, you're so amazing, got all diva and went, no. After dancing around with me for months and months, he's a whiny little diva, and he can kiss my ass. I won't work with him again if he pleaded with me. I got to find a geneticist that has some, let's say, intestinal fortitude, right? And it's not easy because the ones that I dealt with, McMaster's, Ontario, a couple in the US, they were a bunch of pansies. Cowards. So like this one university, just as an example, they all did crap like this. They're just a bunch of cowards. But I dealt with like 10 of them. One university tested my DNA. They were in the news about Bigfoot DNA and how we're so amazing. So I went, cool. I went and gave them the DNA and they go, you're Todd Stan. I go, yep. I'd been quite famous already with video 2 and 3. Quite. So like, you're serious? You want this done? I went, yes, please. So they call me after I got them some hair samples of follicles, and they go, yeah, we're gonna charge you $1,000. I went, okay. I showed up the next day with the check for $1,000, and the guy actually, he goes, Todd's here? Yeah. He's got $1,000? He really wants us to do this. And I went, yeah. So I'm there, and he goes, I have the $1,000 check right in my hand. I go, cash it. You want me to cash? I could do whatever you want. They go, no, hold on. And he goes, come back next week. So he calls me like a few days later. He goes, okay, $2,000, Todd. Thinking, oh, you're not going to show up for the next week. I'm there Wednesday, $2,000 check. And he goes, again, you're really serious? I go, you're going to do that DNA. Like, what are you going to charge me more? I'm getting sick of this. Here's the check. So he takes the check and he's looking at me sideways. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, bitch, they're real. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, come on, test that DNA. So he gives me this funny look. He goes, okay, we'll do the test. And I got his name and everything, blah, blah, blah. So about 2 months later, the check's been cashed. Money's out of my account. I got the receipt for it. And I go back to the university, and I had to make an appointment. They go, oh, you want to come back? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You want to come back? Are the tests in? Mr. Standing would like to make an appointment with you. Yeah, are the tests in? Did you get the tests? I'm all excited. They go, Mr. Standing, it's just a secretary at the front. You can make an appointment to come see me. I go, who are you? She goes, well, I'm the secretary, blah, 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 in accounting. Okay. What I want to see that. No, Mr. Standing, you come and see me. Do you understand? I'm like, okay. So I go there Thursday at 4 o'clock. I show up and there's security there. Like, what the hell? I go, what's going on? She goes, hi, Mr. Standing, can you sign for this? I go, what, for my DNA? She goes, no, for your money back. I go, I don't want my money back. She goes, Mr. Standing, they get all woke on me, right? Mr. Standing, is this going to be a problem? I go, no, I gave the money so I get the test. Mr. Standing, please sign here for your money back. Okay, so I sign there. She has cash, $2,000 in cash. She gives it to me. And I go, what happened with my DNA? Now, thank you, Mr. Standing. Have a good day. Can I talk to somebody? Mr. Standing, I said, have a good day. What? No talking? And then security steps towards me like they're going to remove me. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell's the matter with you people? What a bunch of chumps. See, we knew you were going to get out of hand, Mr. Standing. I go, no, I just want some answers. Mr. Standing, we're asking you to leave. Fine. So I left. That was the end of it. That's the cowards that went, these cowards, and I'm going to call them that, cowards. They were in the newspaper about testing Bigfoot DNA. Some guy says he saw Bigfoot. He was drunk or something. Some guy's drunk in his cabin, supposed to be hunting, shooting frickin' squirrels. Thought he saw a Bigfoot, and then he stepped on some poop and got some hair. Well, they tested it, and it was bison hair. I was like, you guys are testing Bigfoot DNA? So I went over to them. This is university. Wow, let's do the full genome. Let's test it. And that's what happened. That's what happens when you show up with real DNA. Years later, I got an announcement, a little meeting from a guy who was getting his master's in genetics, and he was coming up and doing his PhD, who was part of the test. He says, you tested full genome, unknown primate, dude. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah. And they had a big meeting with the dean, and they realized who you were, and they realized that university was not prepared to go and say Bigfoot's real. So ultimately, they kiboshed you because they were doubting, like, is this guy some kind of evil genius? This is what people think about me. I'm some evil genius out to get you and prove you blah and fool you. I'm in my basement mixing up DNA in a crock pot. Only problem is with Sasquatch DNA, you can't mix. So this is what everybody thought. I'll do this real quick. I've probably done this a few times before. So this is chimpanzee and this is human. This is as far as we know that's alive, right? And so people thought, well, you can mix human and chimpanzee and it'd be in here. You know where Sasquatch DNA is? It's over here. You can't mix chimpanzee and human and go over there. You'd be out of the spectrum. Do you understand? So that's what blew their mind, was I couldn't be mixing it with any known species. This is literally, and I'm telling you guys too, so on the chain, it goes like orangutan, gorilla, chimpanzee, human, right? This is where all the known primates are, monkeys and everything. Nothing is over here. Oh, yes, there is. Sasquatch is over there. That's what the DNA shows. That's what's so exciting about it. And that's going to be my live show for today. I'm going to look at the questions that were in the Facebook and Instagram comments, and I'll answer some of them next week. I apologize. I got so busy today that just 500 things going on. I couldn't quite get to those questions, but I'll do that next week. There'll be a new video up this week, and there'll be new stuff coming up. Even though I couldn't be the first person to tell Paul about that potentially amazing success, Paul is going to get the first stills of that video. Paul's going to have the first look at it. I want to work through that new cool piece of footage with Paul first, because that wouldn't have happened without Paul. Paul made that happen. I'm extremely grateful. You guys got to understand, like, budgeting, financing, money, time, it all matters. It all matters. And this year was rough for me with the forest fires that burned me out, cost me a lot of money. And then I lost lots of expeditions, and I had a major celebrity rip me off. So really badly. I had an October expedition, or I'm not going to mention her name, but a major celebrity was slated to come out, and she literally ripped me off. So I ended up losing that big expedition that was supposed to be, a huge monetary bursary for the discovery process, be transparent, over $20,000 of profit ended up making me lose money. I ended up losing $3,000 instead of making 20,000, and that affected the research, guys. If you think that this research is free, it's not. I go to the gas station and I go to fill up my tank and I go, "Hey, it's for Bigfoot research," and they go, "Oh, we don't care. You're paying for your gas." When I go to the grocery store to buy food, I go, "Hey, I'm a Bigfoot researcher. Is it free?" And they go, "No." Believe me, I have asked. I'm just trying to tell you, for those of you who are convoluted and think preposterously, I am a full-time Sasquatch researcher, and it costs money to do that. I need to budget things. I spent over $10,000 on a thermal drone that failed. This year, I spent nearly $15,000 on the power cells to put up these cameras and the internet and run all this so you guys could have that live feed. And it is what it is. It was half successful. It was a good learning lesson. I was lied to by the solar power companies. They're deceitful and dishonest. I talked about that already. But that was the investment this year in 2024. In 2025, the investment is I'm just going to keep real quiet about it. I'm going to use the equipment to. James, stop it, James! I'm going to use this new equipment, to get over to the other side of into Sasquatch habitat like no human being has ever done. So that's a really cool, amazing announcement. So thank you very much for tuning in today, everybody. Really enjoyed doing the show with you. More to come. Stay tuned to the channel, and I'll say bye for now.